All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Google Search Console, and I'm also going to give you what you need to know about using it. So all the basics to using it for 99% of use cases. So let's get right into this. The first thing that you're going to need to do is go to search.google.com/search console. That's this URL here. I'm going to put this in the description below so you can just click it, but that's the URL you need to go to. You're going to be met with a screen like this. So you would need to hit start now if you don't have one set up already. And it's going to take you to a page to sign into your Google account, and then it's going to show you how to set it up. So I'm going to log into my one and just go through that process from my end already. So if you've already got one, you would go to here where the URL is, and you would click that. You'll find a list of all the ones you manage. You would need to hit add property. Now this is the screen that you're going to see if you've just hit get started just before and logged into your Google account. You're going to see something very similar to this. So there's two ways that you can verify your website for Google Search Console. You can either verify the whole thing by logging into your hosting and uploading usually a CNAME or a text record, or you can upload a file to the file manager in cPanel, which will show that you own the domain, or you can verify just the URL, like just the actual website. Typically, either one of those works, so don't stress too much about it. Just whatever you have access to is how that's going to dictate it. To do the URL one, you can do this just straight through WordPress without having access to the hosting. So if you don't have access to the hosting, you can just go and use this one. I'm going to show you how to do the domain one here because it's more complicated. So I'm going to put in my URL, and you want to put in this case, you don't need to put the whole thing, I think. You just put the actual URL, so not the HTTPS. I'm just going to copy it, hit continue. It's going to try and verify it. It's probably going to fail because I haven't set this up yet. Okay, so now you're going to see this, and you need to decide how you're going to do it, either TXT or CNAME record. It doesn't really matter which one. What you're going to have to do is sign into your hosting provider, copy this, and put that as a text or a CNAME record. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you'd want to copy this. You just hit copy, then log into your hosting provider, which I've done here. And here you would need to go to DNS. And in the DNS setting is where you need to add this. So what you would do is hit add record. And in this case, we are doing a text record. If you're doing the CNAME record, then you would press CNAME. Just going to hit text. And then all you would do is put the value here. Just paste this thing that we just copied. You just want to paste that here, hit add record. Now, once this adds, it might take a couple of minutes to actually verify and propagate online so that Google can see it. So just give it a second to add this. Okay, and you'll get a confirmation saying it's added. This will probably take a couple of seconds. And then once you've submitted the DNS record, you would come here and click verify. Okay, so if the DNS has not propagated yet, as I just mentioned, you're going to end up with this. This doesn't mean that you screwed something up. It just means you need to wait a little bit and come back to it. So if you see this and you did what I just said accurately, come back in 5 minutes, test this again. So just hit OK, and then just come back in 5 minutes and test it again. Hey guys, real quick, if you want to add at least $100,000 to $300,000 per year in new business, guaranteed, or you literally don't pay, go to dominatemarketing.io to book a call with us, and we'll show you exactly how we'll do that for you. Back to the video. Right, so now I've waited a couple of more minutes. It's now said that it's finished submitting in my hosting provider, so I'm going to go back and test this again. So hit verify again, and this time it should work. Okay, so it still doesn't work, so I might need to wait a couple more minutes and then I'll test it again. So while I'm actually waiting for this, I'm going to show you how to do the other method of verifying it as well. So what I'm going to do is hit verify later, because if I verify it now, I'm not going to actually be able to show you later. So I'm just going to hit back. You would hit verify, it would go green, say it's verified. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to do the URL prefix version as well, so that in case you can't do this one, you can do this one. So what you'd need to do is type in the full URL, this time with the HTTPS, blah, blah, blah. Now you would need, if you're doing www, you need to put www here. If you're not doing www, then you don't. So you got to see which version of your website you're using and then use that appropriate one. So in my case, I am using the www version. So I'm just going to go the whole thing right now and hit continue. Now it's going to try verify it again, and it will fail because I haven't verified it. Now, if you have set up GA4 and you are the admin of the GA4 account, you can actually just do it through the GA4 account or through Google Tag Manager, you can see here. So that should give you this option. If you're already an owner, you could click that. I am not yet. I haven't set this up, so that I can't do that. But all you need to do there is just be the admin of the Google Analytics account, and it's going to verify it immediately. I'm going to show you how to do this manually. So you can either download this file and then upload it into the file manager in cPanel. So how you would do that is you would do this. You download the file, save it wherever. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. And then you would want to go into your file manager. So in this case, you'd go website, manage, and manage files, or open cPanel, or whichever manager it's using. And you would upload that file here. So I'm going to show you that. So you go to the, obviously to the public HTML or the URL folder. So you go to the root folder and you upload this to the root folder. So now I'm going to upload the file, go to desktop, and I'm going to pick the file. And now it's going to upload. And so now it's going to verify this, this for me. So you can see the upload completed, the file's there. So I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to hit verify, and now it's going to verify it through the file. Okay, and that's it. So that's what it looks like once you've done it. So we'll just go to property, and now it's going to open the property. So let's say that you weren't doing it that way. You wanted to verify it the other way. You could do it through the HTML tag. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let's say you didn't select the HTML file, you selected the HTML tag. What you would do is you would come here, you would get that code from that window that was just before that pop-up. You would copy this, and then you would need to go to your website, and you would need to go to where you can insert the tag in the header and footer. So for instance, if you're using WordPress, I use a plugin called Insert Headers and Footers. I'll just show you which one it is. So if you go add new and then type in WP Headers and Footers, it's this one here. So you would install that and activate it, and then you could use it. If you're using some other system, you're just going to have to find where you can insert the script in the header. If you're using Google Tag Manager, you can put this script in the Google Tag Manager to fire it to here if you're doing it that way. But basically, you would paste this code here, and then you would hit Save Changes so that it saves it. And now you would go back to here, and you would hit Verify, and you'll see it's going to verify this again. Yeah, verification successful. So now we verified it in 2 ways. So that's how you do that. Now, if we go back to here, I showed you how to do this earlier, but it didn't verify it. Let's test this again. This one should also now verify. It's been a while. There you go, verification successful. So those are the primary 3 methods that you'll use to verify a thing. You don't have to do all 3. I was just doing that for the purpose of this video. 1 is more than enough. You can also do it through Google Analytics. Like I said, all you would have to do is just be a manager of the Google Analytics account. You would hit verify and it would verify. I'm not right now, so it's not going to work. So now you have verified it, and now you have access to all of these different aspects of the Search Console. The problem is you're not going to have any information because it's going to take a while to start building up. It doesn't give you back information. It only starts from right now forwards. So you're not going to see anything until you've had a couple of days of it processing data, so that it actually shows you something. But I'm going to go into another account, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're looking at an account that's already running and what to do from there. So now I'm in an account that I manage that has been running for, I believe, over a year, possibly more, and has data in it. So I'm going to show you what you're looking at. So when you first go in, you're going to be on the overview page, which is this page, and this just gives you a general overview of performance, how many clicks you're getting, how many pages are being indexed, how many are not, what the experience data is like. We're going to go into all this in a second. A lot of this stuff can seem complex, but honestly, you probably won't need most of it, but I'm going to give you a brief overview of all of these parts so that you can see what you need to see. So the first off, I'm just going to go down the list and cover each one of these. So the URL inspection is the first one. And this is, if you want to inspect the URL from the website, you could throw it in and it would tell you what's going on. So I'll give you an example. If I throw this website that is this Search Console's from, you will see what will happen. It's going to tell us whether that URL we just put in, whether it's on Google, whether it's displaying, whether it's indexed, if it's got any issues, you see any, like all the parts that Google is telling us. And you can also request it to index it if it's not indexed, or if you've updated something on the page, you come here, click request indexing, and Google will test it, and then it'll actually index it. So one way you can actually speed up your website showing up in Google is to go through and actually submit all the pages like I just showed you, and then hit request indexing. And that's how you would do that. Now, that's basically all it is in this section. The next section is under performance. You've got search results. Now, this is probably where you're going to spend most of your time. This tells you how your website is doing in the search results. So right now you can see it's showing us how many clicks we're getting, how many impressions we're getting, the average click-through rate overall, and the average position of the website. Now, this is not necessarily going to be accurate to like your ranking report and things like that, but it gives you some good information as to what's happening. Now, I wouldn't rely on this data to be 100% accurate, because Google gives some funny data a lot of the time that's not actually true, and it doesn't align with analytics and all this stuff, but overall it gives you an idea of what's going on. So basically you can select what type of search result you want, whether you want your images, the video, news, or the web. Typically you just leave it at web because that's what you're mostly interested in. You can select the date range. You just go in here and select what date you want, like last 16 months or whatever, and it's going to show you what's been going on. So now you can see like the overall trend. Unfortunately, this doesn't give you the option to filter this to show like by day, week, or month, which is quite annoying, but it is what it is. Below this graph, what we have here now is the queries, which means the keywords that it's actually showing up for, which I can't show you because I don't want to expose whose website this is, but it gives you a list here of all the keywords, how many clicks you got through that keyword, and how many impressions of that keyword. And so you can go down the list and see what your most popular keywords are that you're getting the most clicks from. If you go to pages, it's going to show you all the different pages from the website, which ones are getting the most clicks and the most impressions, so you can have an idea of what your most successful pages are. Same thing here with countries. It's going to show you where most of the traffic is coming from. Same thing with devices, mobile, desktop, tablet, which one get the most clicks and the most impressions. Same with search appearance. It's showing you like what is showing up in the search appearance. Now, this is just if you have videos and products and things like that. And you've got dates here as well, which is just showing you how many clicks and impressions you got from which date, which is not that useful, honestly, but it is what it is. Typically, you're probably going to find that you're in one of the first 3, maybe 4 as well in devices. You're using these sections here. Now, if you want to apply a filter to this data, you can hit new, and then you can filter by country, by page, by the keyword, by the device, and so on, and then see the specific like pages that show up for a particular keyword and things like that. Now, the next one is Discover. This is right now kind of useless. This is just to do with Google Discover. You're probably going to find that there's just nothing here unless you run a specific type of website that displays in the Discover results. I wouldn't worry about this section too much, honestly. The next section we have is indexing. So the first thing you have is pages. And this just tells you of the pages on your website that Google's aware of, how many are indexed and how many are not indexed, and then if there's any errors and what the reasons are. So you can see you got pages with redirects, we got 12, some are no index, which is 3, some are blocked by an issue, so you might want to go through and fix these. Same with 404, if you got any 404s, you might want to go through and fix them. A couple other things, if they're crawled, not currently indexed, and so on. Now, typically, if there's an error, Google's going to state that there's an error. These are all just kind of normal things that happen, so there's nothing really here to worry about, but sometimes it will tell you if there's an error so you can go in and fix it. You'll typically find that not every page on your website is going to be indexed and showing. It's just kind of how it goes, so don't worry too much if it's not, but if all of your pages are not showing, then there's a problem, so just be aware of that. Now, you can go through the rest here and see video pages as well if you've got any pages with videos. There's only one on this site, so there's not a lot of data here. Now, the next thing is sitemaps. So on your website, you'll want to have a sitemap, which basically is just a way for Google to tell where all the pages on your website are and what they all are. It lists them all out in a simple format, and you would submit that sitemap here so that Google can index it. That's just going to help Google to index all of your pages faster because it's aware that they exist. So you would put the URL in here of your sitemap, you'd hit submit, and then here it just tells you about the sitemap, when it was last read, if it's successful, and so on, so that you know what's going on with the sitemap. Now, under removals, this is if you have had something to do with your content, you want to get rid of the Google search from Google Search's index, you can actually request them to remove it from there. So let's say, for instance, somebody hacked your account, put a bunch of new pages on, hacked your website, put a bunch of new pages on, and you want to get those out of the Google search index. If by some chance it did index them, you can hit new requests and you can add those here. So that's what this section is for. Other than that, if you don't have anything like that, you don't have to worry about this. Now under experience, this is where Google kind of tells you what it thinks your website's doing, like how well it's doing. So for instance here, unfortunately on this one, it's telling us that no URLs have a good experience in mobile. And if you go through these, it'll actually tell you why. So the usability is good, the HTTPS is good, but in this case, the Core Web Vital is probably failing in terms of, I'm going to guess it's something to do with page speed, which it is. This is to do with how fast the page loads. So that just tells you like what's happening, so you can go in and fix these errors if you have this. So that's going to need to be resolved on this website. And now we got Core Web Vitals, which is just the thing you just saw. Same thing here, it just tells you like which URLs are not performing well on mobile and how to fix that. And it should also give you for desktop here. I'm actually not sure why it's not showing for this website, but typically you'll have a graph very similar to this one. Now, there's also another section here, mobile usability, and that gives you a very specific mobile specific data. So here you can see that all the pages on the site that are indexed are usable. And there's no other issues detected on mobile other than that Core Web Vital issue about loading that it mentioned before. Now we've got here enhancements, breadcrumbs, and site link search box. This honestly you don't really need to worry about. It's just to do with like interlinking on your website and stuff. I wouldn't worry about this section honestly. Even I myself pretty much never go in here. Now, if you got security and manual actions, under here, manual actions means if Google has taken a manual action against your website, as in like it has penalized it manually, it should come up here and tell you that you're penalized. So that's just going to let you know if for some reason your website's not ranking or something like that. You go into manual actions here, you see you got a penalty, you're going to know why. If you don't, then typically it's some other issue and you don't have anything to worry about in terms of that. And under security issues, this is if your website has been hacked, Google has sensed that there's malware on your website, things like that, that's going to show up over here. Now you got under legacy tools and reports a couple of like older tools, which honestly I wouldn't worry about at this point. You can see that it opens the old Google Webmaster Tools, which was the previous version of Search Console. Unfortunately, there's basically nothing here for you to use. As you can see, it's just basically going to send you back to the other one, so I wouldn't worry about that. And then under here, under links is basically the last one, and this just tells you external links that are going within the website, how many links are going to those pages. You got internal links, so pages internally linking to each other. You got the top sites that are linking to the website, and so you can go through here and just make sure everything is all right and see if you know your links that you're making are actually showing up and being registered and things like that. So that's practically it. Under settings, you've just got some settings that like to do with verification, you know, users, things like that, admins and so on. Other than that, that's basically it. That's the overview of the Google Search Console. Now, like I said, you're typically going to find that if you're running most normal websites, that most of your time is just going to be spent in the search results here. In this section, this is where you're going to get most of the useful info and my information from Google Search Console, maybe a bit in pages and a bit in the experience section here under like Core Web Vitals. But honestly, you're going to find that you're in here because this gives you the good information about the keywords, the pages, and so on. So that's how you set it up and the quick overview of how to use it. I recommend that you go in here, start poking around, go through all these different sections I've shown you, see what information you can actually see once you've set your website up, and then from there you can decide what's actually useful for your particular use case. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about this, just feel free to post them in the comments below and I will get back to you and respond with the best information that I can. Hope that was helpful otherwise, and I'll catch you on the next one.